You are never alone. But sometimes, I don't know if you guys are like me, you prefer alone time. Who likes to be alone sometimes? Yeah, that's almost all of you. So the thing is, we love personal time to ourselves. And the older we get, I think the more precious it is. You guys saw my daughter on TV this morning. Time alone with myself is very precious because it doesn't come very often. But I think about a time when I was in college, my parents actually left for a week to go on a cruise, and I was just home alone for an entire week. And it was like one of the greatest weeks of my life. I don't think I even left my house. I just watched whatever I wanted to watch on TV. I ate everything that was in the fridge. I ate everything that was in the fridge and in the pantry. And I don't think I talked to a single person for 24 hours times 7 days. It was pretty awesome. And so sometimes we need those times alone. Toward the end, I was it'd be pretty great to open my mouth and verbally communicate with somebody. But sometimes you just need that time alone. Alone time can actually be very hydrating. We're talking about emotional hydration. So sometimes that alone time is actually the thing that you need the most. But, sometimes we're alone by choice. Sometimes we're alone because we truly just don't have anybody to be there for us. Some of us just feel so alone all the time. And maybe we can't explain why. Or maybe we're in bad circumstances. So today, we wanted to give you guys some hope. That's what we are trying to do today. The whole goal for you today is to reach out and get some hope, because we're going to talk to you about how, just because you're without help doesn't mean you're without hope. A lot of us feel without help very frequently. And as you get older, the times they come more and more. And we have to learn to hold on to hope when we don't have help. So having help, creating a great community, having those things is fantastic, and you should definitely strive for those, definitely look for those. But sometimes we just won't have that luxury. As you guys get older in high school and then go off to college, you're going to find yourself alone sometimes, and you're going to feel alone. So we're going to tell you how to deal with that today. The question really is, what do you do if you're truly on your own? What do you do if you're truly on your own? I was trying to think, in my life, was there a time that I was truly on my own? And I actually went back to probably one of my earlier memories of this happening. I was 6 years old. Arrowhead Mall had just opened. And so I was in there. I was playing in a toy store. It was kind of toward the end of the day. And my mom's like, I'm going to go into this clothing store. You stay here in this toy store. I don't know if that was a good choice as her as a mom, looking back on it. But I was alone by myself in this toy store. And then the manager came up and said, "We're about to close, little boy." And I was pretty terrified. Because as a 6-year-old, every single other adult besides your parents terrifies you. And so I was like, what do I do? And so I just stood in front of the toy store. And then you kept thinking, what if my mom never comes back? What if I have to live in the mall and I have to eat pretzels for the rest of my life? I'm doesn't sound too bad. But you get this feeling of desperation, I'm alone, I'm panicking, what do I do? And so, number one thing that you have to do is decide to act. Here's what I did. Even as a 6-year-old, here's a lesson that I learned really early. That sometimes we get stuck and we kind of don't know what to do, but you have to act. You have to do something. You can't just wallow in that loneliness, or else that's going to swallow you up. So that's a scary early memory for me, but what I did is I started calling out for my mom, or I called out for help, and an adult came by and helped me actually find my mom, and she actually wasn't too far away. But as a 6-year-old, you don't know how the world works, you don't know how the mall works, so you feel alone. So fortunately, I was able to get back with her, but it's because I decided to act. And so that's something that we have to do, because just because it seems like you're lost doesn't mean that you have to lose hope. Because if you have hope, that's something that nobody can ever take from you. Hope is the one thing that will keep you afloat in this world, no matter how high or how low the water level is in your life. It will always keep you afloat. And so that's what you do when you're on your own. What if you were just surrounded by so much negativity? Some of you guys, maybe your home life is not so great. Maybe for some of you guys, your school life, not so great. Maybe for some of you guys, wherever you go, there seems to be negative people there. So what do you do if you're surrounded by negativity and you want to get out? You know, we live in a pretty negative world. I don't know if you guys have noticed yet. We live in a pretty negative world, and it can be overwhelming at times. But here are some tips. Number one, minimize it. So here's what I mean by that. If there's a person at school, for instance, that is extremely negative, a very bad influence on you, keep telling yourself that, you know, I have to just put up with them while I'm at school. I still have home. I still have my extracurricular activities. I still have these other things. So in your brain, you can kind of compartmentalize and say, I only have to deal with this person for a little bit. Because ultimately, we're always going to have to deal with those kinds of people. You're always going to have somebody negative in your life. And so you have to minimize it and realize that, you know, it has its place. And eventually, when you keep minimizing it, you'll find yourself pushing those people out of your life. And eventually, you'll get to a healthier place. Another thing is to use an umbrella. How many of you guys actually own an umbrella? I doubt it. How many of you guys actually use it regularly? Yeah. You don't have to, because we live in Phoenix. It's actually been really weird the last month how much rain that we've got. It's been super weird. Yeah, it's super weird. We're not used to it. But here's the thing. What an umbrella does is it protects us from the rain, right? It kind of is like a temporary barrier. Well, we need some of those things in our life when negativity rains down on us. So an umbrella for you could be, maybe it's a famous line from a book that you memorized, or an author that you memorized, or something that your grandparents told you, your mom told you, or something. There's something that you have to hold on to use an umbrella. When the negativity is coming down, you say, wow, I'm grateful for this in my life, or I'm grateful for whatever, fill in the blank. There's something that you can use that is powerful enough to block that negativity. Number 3 is to be a light in the dark. Here's the thing about negativity, is that just because somebody is negative towards you doesn't mean you have to be negative back towards them. You can actually choose to be positive when somebody is negative towards you. And there's actually a certain amount of joy that comes from that. It comes from actually pushing aside that darkness and showing them light. It kind of gives you the high ground in that situation, just like your hero Obi-Wan had the high ground. It gives you and it elevates you out of that situation. And so be a light in the dark. And number 4, let it go. There are so many times in our lives where so many things can pile on, and we have to learn to let things go. So next time somebody is negative towards you, use it as an opportunity to practice this, to let something go. Let it roll off your shoulders. Get out of your bad relationship. Quit your job if you have to later. Find new friends. Change classes. Quit some extracurriculars or sports. I'm not saying quit everything, but if there's something that is constantly nagging and eating away at you, you need to let it go. And that's something, as you get older, it gets harder and harder to do, but it's something so important as you become an adult. You cannot reach out for hope if you're holding on tightly to these negative things, because you have to grasp hope with an open hand. You can't grasp hope with an open hand if you're holding on tightly to these things that you need to let go of. All right, so we've talked about what do you do if you're on your own? What do you do if you're surrounded by negative people? But what if you're just truly empty? Like you're hearing what I'm saying and you're saying, I just don't have the energy to do this. I feel like I'm just totally drained. What do you do? Yeah, drinking water. Drinking water is important. But here's what happens. A lot of the times when we face emptiness, we have to look at our surroundings and realize that maybe we need to hit rock bottom. And it sounds bad. It sounds weird for me to say this. But a lot of the times with substance abuse and other things, really the turning point in a lot of people turning their lives around is when they hit that rock bottom moment, because they realize just how emotionally bankrupt they are, just as a person, how they just have nothing left. And that's a turning point for a lot of people. So some people need that. And it gives them confidence to move forward. It's kind of like when you're in a pool and you can feel the bottom with your toes. It's not as scary if you're afraid of deep water. So it gives you confidence. You realize this is the floor. I can only go up from here. Another thing we need to do is be honest. You guys are so hungry for people to be genuine and honest with you. And you need to be that first. It has to start with you. In a world that is full of lies, full of deception, full of people who are giving you advice and trust, and you're asking yourself, is this even real? It has to start with you. You have to be honest. Don't pretend like you have it all together. Some of you are really good at doing that, pretending like you have it all together when you don't. That gets you nowhere. And that actually backtracks. Stop pretending like you have it all together. Genuineness is way more valuable than appearances. It's like an Instagram filter. Like it makes you look good, but you don't look that good in person. Or a Snapchat filter, the one that like kind of like slims your face and puts makeup on you. You don't look that good. That is not genuine. And what is that? That's a picture. You can't hug that picture. Well, I guess you could. You could like hug your phone or kiss your phone, but you don't want people watching you when you're doing that. But filters, they look nice, but they aren't real. Be real. Be genuine. Be honest about who you are. And then also get help. Yeah. Not just the Michael Jordan meme. Come on, get help. But if people around you are so draining that you actually have to reach out to somebody else, it's okay to see somebody like a therapist. Now, it sounds weird, and you're like, isn't that just for like mentally crazy people? No. I mean, you guys go to the doctors regularly, right? Sometimes you get like a checkup. I'm done asking you guys questions. You never respond. Yeah. And I'm saying, it's the same thing. Think about a therapist. What do? They help you. It's almost like a mental checkup. There's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. They just get a bad rap from some people. And so sometimes we just have to start here in order to fill ourselves up. Because ultimately, through all of this, you need to find your source. You need to find something that fuels you. Find that one thing. Because you are wired a specific way. You are wired a certain way. I mean, what do you guys do when your battery on your phone is below 10%? Yeah, you plug it in. You panic. She's just like, I let it die. Like, wow. Yeah, you need to get a new phone. But sometimes we can get like in that desperate like scramble. Like I was with you guys in the classroom last year, and by the end of the day, I had a lot of students be like, can I plug in my phone? Can I please plug in my phone? I just need to plug in my phone just for a little bit, please. Like this is a crazy desperation that like your life is about to be over. Like you're not even going to use your phone in class. Why do you need it? And so we get desperate. And same thing with the phone, you have to plug it into the source. You plug it into the source to fill it up. And we're the same way. The station, here's where we are today. You may have noticed the logo. It's actually being plugged in. And so we urge you, like a charging station, to find your source. The station is not the source. The station can only point you towards the source. You need to find your source of power. What is it that will give you the highest joys? Run after that. What is it that will give you the deepest peace? Run after that. What is it that will give you the most fulfillment? Run after that. That is your source. So stop plugging in to bad outlets. Stop looking for short-term fixes when you know that the long-term solution is finding that source. So remember, you can be helpless, but you never have to be hopeless. Peace out.